Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more Bloodsword. Now, when last we left off, we had crossed the terrible bridges of death and found ourselves on the first of three, let's call them plateaus, in the large lava platform cavern. And there was the blackened, scorched temple and the hags. Now, I will reread this section from the end of the last one. I think I should probably make that a series habit going forwards. After crossing the bridges, Sir Alwyn has a bit of outstanding damage, as does Brother Kern and Ariadne. In fact, Remy the Trickster is the only one on full health at the moment. Let us continue then. Now that the show is over, the disgusting hags lope back to their cauldrons. You move across the terrace, feeling their rheumy eyes upon you. Their repulsive familiars rush about under your feet, rotting crows with eyes dangling from sockets, yellow-fanged rats, wart malformed toads with human faces, scuttling objects that suggest entrails on legs. They clutch at your heels as you walk past, and you feel you would prefer to be back on the bridge fighting than endure this horror. The hags themselves crouch on the temple steps, gabbling to one another and shrieking with insane laughter. We can speak to the hags. We do have a trickster, so it might be worthwhile. We can walk up the steps to the temple, or we can take the path around the right of the temple, or the path around to the left. So, just to zoom out a little, imagine this is the ruined temple at the top of these. We've come across our two bridges. There's steps leading up to the temple. This is our temple. There's a path going round it to the left and a path going round it to the right. I think, while we're here with the hags, we should engage with them and hope they don't cast any nasty spells on us. Actually, that could be pretty unfortunate, so I'm going to have to be careful now. Okay, we'll go to 212. Well now, weird sisters, what are you doing? You ask, almost retching at the sight of their snaggle-toothed gums when they grin up at you. Oh, just cooking, says one, clattering the stone lid on her pot aside. A bilious aroma wafts up, stinging your eyes. The hags all cackle madly at this. Another one of them scuttles over to accost you. Want a little taste? She prefers a ladle dripping with steaming gruel. Wait a minute, flavour's not quite right, screeches another, dropping a decomposing hand into her bubbling cauldron. If there is an enchanter in the party, he or she could try to enthrall one of them in order to find out what they know about the dangers ahead. If not, we could agree to sample their potions, or we could enter the temple, walk around it to the left or to the right. We do indeed have an enchantress, and Ariadne is in reasonably good health. She has no spells currently prepared. Let's go for it. This is a non-combat situation as well, so we're not likely to need a casting roll. You call the enthrallment spell to mind. Several of the hags watch you suspiciously. When you cast the spell, check to see if the hag you're trying to enchant manages to resist. She has a psychic ability of 7. We may successfully enthrall her, however, if we fail, the hag realizes what you're up to and flings a pot of acid over you, causing the loss of 1 endurance point, which I presume will go through armour. You can keep trying, losing 1 endurance point each time you fail, if you wish. We can give up or die. So, the hag has a psychic ability of 7. Let's try this. Okay, she succeeds once, that's 1 point of damage. Twice. Third time lucky. So 2 points of... It's not configuration, it's properties. There we go. 2 points of damage to Ariadne, taking her down to an endurance score of 6. So we're going to have to be a little careful of her, keep her at the back of the party marching order in times to come, but we have been successful. 374 is not in bold, but then this is an old scan. We've seen CL often turned into a D and a few other interesting things. 373, 4. The hag is enslaved by your magic.
Speak, she says. Demand. I'll answer.
You feel her natural stubbornness fighting your spell. You have time for only one question. What will you ask? What other adventurers have passed this way? What lies within the temple? Which of these potions are beneficial? What is the worst danger that awaits? I'll ask what lies in the temple. Because the greatest danger that awaits could be what lies in the temple, but it could be something else. And the immediate danger is the one we should concern ourselves with. While we can walk around the temple, we may not be able to return to it. So it's worth knowing if we should enter or not.
Our mistress, Echidna, is the main occupant. She may prevail upon you to part with some of your lifeblood. This is not wholly bad, but if you have any octagonal glass prisms, then you'd be better off fighting her.
You sense the informant weakening. The hag is coming round and will doubtless give high priority to some scheme of revenge against you. To forestall this, you strike her senseless with an iron ladle taken out of her own cauldron. Doubtless she has visited far worse fates than others in her time, and you know what I should do. I should have Brother Kern attempt some healing. I should have done that in the previous couple of sections as well. Oh, goodness. Okay, loses a point. So, I need to get... Right, so 98. Was a non-healing section, because that was last episode. 212 was a potential healing episode. Bearing in mind that 2 of the damage to Ariadne had not happened yet. So here he fails because I rolled a 2. Then she goes to attempt the servile informant at 283. And while she's doing that, we can attempt a non-Ariadne healing for one of the others. We'll drop another point. Okay, gets 3 back. He'll get 1 to himself. Give 2 to Sir Alwyn straight away. I am pumping up our frontliners here because they're more likely to be taking the hits. And then... And this section, Ariadne takes 2 damage. We then go to 374. I'm sorry, at this low rank, I am going to be backtracking healing when it's this vital. Because at this point, any one fight could kill us rather easily. So we subdue the hag, enslave her, ask her a question, and we can attempt healing again. At this point, we can heal Ariadne up to her full potential instead of a bit. I'll do 1 point heal, as usual. Gets an extra point back. We'll put it here, just to get our warrior on full health. Now we have the warrior and trickster at full health. We also know that Echidna, the mistress of the old crones, is in the temple. We're going to put our trickster in front. Does that seem wise? No. We'll let Sir Alwyn continue to take the lead. Okay. What lies in the temple? 536. So one more healing attempt. Here we go. If anyone knows how to get rid of these two annoying buttons for Foxit Reader, please let me know, because they cover up the scroll bar in an extremely frustrating way. So we will have another 1 point healing attempt. Gets back an extra point. We'll give it to Ariadne to place her on a 7. Oh, piss off. It's late at night. I don't need that now. I'll look into it later. I'm recording, damn it. So we've all but brained the hag. Now let's head to section 67. And now that I can actually touch the little dauber again and move it, yoink. We can now investigate the temple. Take the left-hand path, right-hand path, or try a potion. I mean, we just knocked one of the hags out. The others may be intimidated, but they might also give us something poisonous and nasty to get us back. I will, however, make another healing attempt. Ugh. Gets back the 1 point he spent. Okay, so be it. Now, knowing that the mistress of the hags is in the temple and they've suggested we fight her, Ariadne should prepare a spell before we go into the temple. Now, I've got two options here that seem both very tempting. Whitefire to blast a single target, or possibly Eye of the Tiger or Sword Thrust to do a lot of damage. However, these are complexity level 2 spells, so I'd be needing to roll a 5 to cast them initially, or less, as opposed to the 6 or less I would need for Whitefire. So the question is, if I prepare a complexity level 2 Sword Thrust over a complexity level 1 Whitefire, in theory, it's going to take me one more turn to cast, assuming I have whatever the same dice rolls, right? If it takes me 3 turns to cast Whitefire, it'll take me 4 turns to cast Sword Thrust, in theory, presuming it's the same dice and the same instance of attempting to cast. So the question is that one extra turn, which I would be spending calling another Whitefire spell into mind? So in theory, let's say I manage to roll a 6 every time. Unlikely, I know. I prepare round 1, or well, pre-combat, I prepare Whitefire or Sword Thrust. Let's say Whitefire. Then arguably, round 1 I cast Whitefire. Round 2 I prepare Whitefire. Round 3 I cast Whitefire. Whereas with Sword Thrust, same dice rolls. Round 1 I attempt to cast Sword Thrust. Round 2 I cast Sword Thrust. Round 3 I prepare Sword Thrust. I am a round behind on my casting. So the question is, because armor will protect against both of these, will she have... Right. If Whitefire takes 2 rounds and Sword Thrust takes 3... Well, if Whitefire takes 3 or 4 rounds and Sword Thrust takes 4 or 5, is it worth that extra bit of damage, or would it be better just spamming the lower level spell? The same applies to Eye of the Tiger. If I can pull it off early in the fight, I can do a lot of damage. If I can pull it off late in the fight, when I have the chance of defeating the foe who is badly wounded, I can also... That could help a lot, but otherwise I might be better off just going for the Whitefire. I think I should prepare the Whitefire for now, until I know exactly what I'm dealing with. Secondly, we're going into a fight with something nasty. Sir Alwyn will once again give Blutgetranke to Remy. Now, why is this? I could have one character with a fighting prowess of 9, hitting fairly reliably, and one character with a fighting prowess of 7 hitting less reliably. However, in a tough fight, and at this low rank, if anyone takes a lot of damage, they need to start defending a lot in order to stay alive. So, if Sir Alwyn takes a lot of damage, he won't be able to attack anyway, and that fighting prowess of 9 would be wasted. Whereas Remy would be then fighting with a prowess of 7. Having them both on an 8 means that if one of them is heavily injured and needs to start defending, the other can keep attacking for a consistent damage output. And yeah, I'm aware that, you know, a fighting prowess of 8, I might roll a 9, and if I had that extra 1 point, that would have hit, and I could get a few more hits in with one character. Or I could have a better chance of hitting with both characters. So having used the sword on the bridge, Sir Alwyn hands it once again to Remy, saying, "Here, thanks for return of it, but I think you might need it in the temple there, a little bit." And Remy says, "You know what? Take my old sword. You've used it well enough so far, and I'll be sure to give this back to you if we ever approach something large and ginormous looking." Sir Alwyn claps him on the shoulder and says, "If we're ever in a fight for our lives, I'll truly appreciate it, but for now, I'd rather have a good sword hand at my side, and that one will be yours." Let's head into the temple. There we go.
"By the picking of my nose," says one of the hags in a stage whisper as you walk past them, "someone gallant that way goes."
To your disgust, they all break into peals of high-pitched laughter. You climb the soot-smeared steps and enter the temple colonnade. The geyser light does not penetrate here, and for a few moments you are in Stygian darkness. You are startled by blundering into a marble altar, and sweeping your hands along it, you find first a sharp knife, which you may take if you wish, and then a large stone urn. There is something warm and sticky filling the urn almost to the brim. With a shock, you realize it as blood. And with that revelation, Brother Kern will attempt one more healing attempt. He gets 1 point back. He will restore it to himself. So our two frontliners are in healthy shape. Our two back rank characters, not so much. As your eyes adjust to the gloom, a pale luminescent face appears before you. It is the face of a woman, not unhandsome except for the greenish cast to her skin and the hissing serpents that are her hair. You need no sage to tell you this is Echidna, the Ophidian lady, mistress of inescapable coils, Lamia of the beneficial kiss, mother of Hydra. She is without doubt one of the most deadly of all demon kind. We could speak to her, or attack her without hesitation. Well, the hags did say that if we had any octagonal glass prisms, we would be better off attacking Echidna. And that was no trickery. No falsehood was spoken. The hag was magically compelled to tell the truth. So that is what we'll do. I expect to have no healing opportunity and go straight into combat as we are initiating the fight ourselves. And oh look, we're at that same section we saw last episode while Ariadne was facing off against Sir Guillaume de Cauchemar. Echidna slithers forwards across the marble floor to attack you. Her bite contains a strong poison, and anyone wounded by her rolls 1 die. On a roll of a 1 to 5, the poison does not flow into the wound, but on a roll of a 6, the player must lose 3 dice of endurance. This is going to be a very challenging fight. Echidna here deals very heavy damage, quite reliably, and she has a lot of endurance. I suspect we're going to have to do a lot of defending, tactical defending, and I have a theory that may or may not work. I'll go away and build the map and make up a token for Echidna, and then all hell's going to break loose. Here we have our lovely temple map. I know it's the same floor I used for the Mage's Mansion in the very first gameplay episode. I've blatantly photoshopped in the side exits, and I'm also blatantly hiding the fact that I've added I haven't removed the back wall by just tucking it up on the top of the screen. Here we have our combatants, and it's all going to get very nasty. Echidna, the mother of monsters, is waiting to lay waste to our heroes. And she probably may well do. Now, she has a fighting prowess of 8, which currently puts her on par with Sir Alwyn and Remy. However, she also has 40 endurance points, meaning she can take a lot of damage, and an armor rating of 2. Her psychic ability of 9 is so high that we shouldn't bother using any of the psychic spells that would affect her. So, Night Howl, she's just going to resist it, probably. Eye of the Tiger affects us. Mist of Death, no. The Vampire spell is a psychic spell. Sheet Lining is Area Blast. Ghastly Touch is a psychic spell. Nemesis Bolt. Servile Enfraudment. Yeah. If we manage to pull off Servile Enfraudment, that'd be amazing, but I think we're most likely to be using White Fire and maybe Eye of the Tiger. Now, Eye of the Tiger will help us only if we are attacking. It boosts fighting prowess and damage rolls. And we will only be making attack rolls and damage rolls if we are alive. She hits for 2d6 plus 2 damage, with a 1 in 6 chance of her poison, doing an extra 3d6 damage. We don't have anywhere near that much health. We have 12 endurance points for Sir Alwyn and Remy, and 7 each for Brother Kern and Ariadne. Given that we have an armor rating for 2 for everyone, except for Sir Alwyn with his armor rating of 3, if she rolls well, she could drop either of our 2 frontliners here. And on an average damage roll of 7, she could take out Brother Kern or Ariadne with a single hit. So we don't want to be moving those 2 anywhere near her. We don't want to give her the opportunity to strike at them. Our most reliable way of dealing damage is Ariadne's White Fire spell. Our 2 frontline warriors, each with a fighting prowess of 8, stand a decent chance of landing a blow. Same chance as her, The difference is that if we hit her, we're not defending. And she's on the same awareness as Remy, meaning they will act simultaneously, then everyone else will. I have a theory for this encounter. Look, this is a particularly deadly fight, and I'd like to point out that in the remaining portion of the adventure, there are 2 or 3 really deadly fights. I'd say about 3. And it's up to us to choose which 2 we do. And believe me, this is the safer option. There is a theory that says since she randomizes her target and has an equal chance of choosing each, in theory, it's a bad theory, by the way. In theory, if she attacks one person, then next round she should attack the other person, so the person that she attacked should attack her on the off chance that she won't target them 2 rounds in a row. This is a terrible theory, by the way, because the actual probability is that if she attacks one person, she has a 50% chance of attacking them next turn as well. And I know statistically you go, it's 50% of 50% of 50% of the chance of each of these consecutive rolls all targeting the same person. But the problem is that when you're rolling dice, especially map tools dice, which tend to get a little bit sticky on numbers sometimes, and I will have to pay attention to that because this is a particularly deadly encounter, each roll is a separate instance. And yes, while the odds of you rolling the same number again are lower, you're not really factoring in the odds of rolling the same number again. You're treating it as the first time every time. Because the odds of rolling the same number twice in a row are less, but the odds of rolling that same number haven't really changed at all. So it's a bad theory, but one we may have to rely on. Given their armor values, she could kill Sir Alwyn on a damage roll of 9 and Remy on a damage roll of a 10. Not good, right? We do not want that. Brother Kern has 5 arrows, which he is likely to loose in her direction. He's got a fighting prowess of 7, so a good number of those arrows may miss. Because Remy acts on the same initiative as her in the first round, I think Remy should defend. And what happens next will depend on who she attacks. If she attacks Sir Alwyn and hits him, he's probably going to need to defend. If she attacks Remy, because he's defending, there's a reasonable chance she might miss, in which case Sir Alwyn can risk an attack. And then Remy could use quick thinking at the end of the round to get an attack in, and then first thing next round he could defend again. Although, if she attacked Sir Alwyn, Remy can risk an attack and leave himself open, and Sir Alwyn would then need to defend. It's horrible. It really is. I will take this opportunity to remind myself of the optional rules included in the new book, which is that if anyone drops, if anyone survives, at the end of the encounter, the unconscious party members recover with 1d6 endurance points each. Additionally, the optional rule that if everyone is defeated, we can flee through one of the side doors. This is not preferable. We want to win this fight desperately, because it will make the remainder of the adventure a lot easier for us. It won't make it absolutely safe at all, but we need to try, and I've waffled for long enough. Unfortunately, The dice are going to play a far greater part in the resolution of this than most of my tactical decisions at this point. We're very vulnerable, she's very dangerous. Now, we don't want any of us to drop, but the safe knowledge that if one or two of us goes down, we can survive, means that we may attempt to cast the Eye of the Tiger if she's getting low on health. If she's under like 15 health, 15, 20 health, we might want to prepare Eye of the Tiger and then just everyone try and take her down in one round when she's badly wounded. But for now, of course, we're on round 1. Echidna and Remy have gained initiative. Remy will defend. Echidna will randomize a target. We'll go 1 for Sir Alwyn, 2 for Remy. Oh dear, it could all be over now. Okay. That's a hit. That's 7 damage. With his armor rating of 3, that'll be 4 damage, taking him down to 8 endurance points. And a poison roll. This is not poison. Does he dare attack this round? I'm not sure he does. Wait. 8, 9, 10, 11. So she would need to roll a 9 on 2 dice to kill him. Which could happen. I think he needs to attack. This is a huge risk. Sir Alwyn will attack with his sword, striking hard and true. She does have a lot of health. And that just goes off her armoured scales and does nothing. Ariadne will attempt to cast White Fire. Look, it's 2 dice plus 1, not expecting miracles. Miracles, however, do happen. For a total of 8 damage, minus 2 armor is 6, taking her down to a shocking 34 endurance. And Brother Kern will fire an arrow. I will remove the spell, as it has now been cast. So Brother Kern will loose his arrow. It's going to be gone regardless of result of this roll. Does the shaft fly true? It does! 5 damage, minus armor is 3, takes her down to 31 endurance. Remy will use quick thinking to now attack her, coming out of his defensive stance. Because we really need this. Sir Alwyn is... Look, he's not that heavily wounded, but he is within death's reach. Remy, unfortunately, does not land a blow. We go to round 2. Remy defends, because leaving himself open won't encourage her, and Echidna chooses her target. And chooses Remy. Excellent. We will 3d6 plus 1, because he's defending and he is the trickster. Oh, she hits him. Oh, no. Oh, how much damage? 9. He takes 7 damage and goes down to 5 endurance. He will be defending for the rest of this fight. Something Sir Alwyn should seriously consider. Oh, that's harsh. And she's only down to 31 endurance. We roll for poison, obviously, before I forget. It is not a poison bite. Remy does not take 3d6 damage and die on the spot. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Since the remaining 3 heroes act simultaneously, we'll have Brother Kern... No. We'll have Ariadne prepare 1 more White Fire spell. At the moment, that Sword Thrust spell is looking much more appealing. And Brother Kern will loose a shaft. Another arrow winging its way towards its target. Come on. Shoot straight and true. Nope, he misses in the darkness of the temple. I think Sir Alwyn has to defend, so that both her targets are now defending. We go to round 3, and Echidna chooses her target. She goes for Sir Alwyn, who is immediately grateful he defended. And we're going to just hope she doesn't roll anything like she did when she attacked the defending Remy. With a 10, he fends off her blows, warding her off with his sword. Holding her off, keeping her at bay. She does not manage to strike him. Emboldened by this, Remy decides to keep defending because he's not an idiot and he wants to live. I noticed in the new rules in the new book that movement in combat is different. If you begin a round adjacent to an opponent, you can only move away if you chose the defend option last round. Defend makes you harder to hit for one full round, i.e. until your turn next round. Any opponent trying to hit you must roll 3 dice instead of 2. And then... where are we? With a note about defense there. There's nothing about parting blows in combat. So, under the new rules, disengaging in combat is no longer based on awareness. Instead, you simply take the defend option and stand there and stay next to the opponent, who then has a chance to hit you. It's a highly reduced chance, and then you move away next turn. Am I delaying the inevitable? Quite possibly, but I'm also trying to build up hope. Right, so this is interesting. What it does is it allows for free characters who are not the trickster more freedom to retreat from enemies in combat. However, it also slows down the trickster so that he can't just walk over and help whoever needs helping, which could make a lot of the fights actually quite a bit harder. If a character is heavily wounded, the trickster might not be able to just disengage from whatever he's fighting and go over there to stand next to the target and be an additional option for the monster to choose. Speaking of monsters and choosing, since Echidna has missed her attack against Sir Alwyn and Remy is defending, we go to Sir Alwyn, who will consider attacking if she is on a much worse state. Ariadne will attempt to cast her spell. Now, attempting to cast a rank 1 spell, a complexity level 1 spell at the moment is risky, but she succeeds once again. White fire pours across the monster. Let's do some damage. 7, that'll be 5 points, taking her down to a 26. If we can get her below 20, I think these two might start attacking again. Speaking of getting her below 20, let us remove the spell before I forget. Brother Kern will attempt to shoot a 3rd arrow. He will now have only 2 remaining. That sadly does not find its mark, and the monster continues to menace our remaining heroes. At this point, she's going to attack again. Remy will defend simultaneously, so usual target numbers. She goes for Remy. So at this point, if she downs one of our two frontliners, yes, I can say he should have attacked her last round because it was his last chance. But he really doesn't know and he wants to stay alive. So, 3d6 plus 1. Oh! Remy manages to evade her attack. She's dripping venom all over the flagstones of the temple. And he's like, bloody hell, I'm not going to get hit by that thing. Okay. Sir Alwyn will, while he wasn't chosen to be the target of her fury, he's incredibly grateful, but that doesn't make it quite safe for him to attack just yet. Ariadne will prepare another white fire spell. She's on the brink of going for the Eye of the Tiger, but not quite yet. And Brother Kern will fire his penultimate arrow. You never know, he might get a good hit in. He does not, I'm afraid. She's moving around, she's swerving, she's swaying. Remy and Sir Alwyn are getting in the way. He just can't get a clear shot, and the arrow clatters off the wall somewhere back deep in the darkness of the temple. Does Sir Alwyn risk an attack? If he hits her, she may attack him next round. If he doesn't hit her, she still may attack him next round. If she attacks him, she's hitting on an 8 or less. That's a fairly reliable hit. For a total of 4 to 14 damage. 11 damage would kill him. So 7, 8, 9. On average damage, he'd have like 2 endurance left. And she would only take, 0 to 5 damage. It's not worth it yet. Okay, new round. The vile Echidna, monstrosity herself, selects her target. Oh, she goes for Sir Alwyn. She can tell that he was on the brink of moving to attack. He was building up his courage, edging in, and she lashes out at him. He is defending, and this had better save his life. Oh! So he edges towards her. She coils and then lashes out like a coiled spring. Her head just going right at him. And he ducks and gets his sword up to defend himself. Fortunately, doesn't get the sword in the way of her, but the rest of him isn't in the way either, and he is alive. At this point, Remy is not even going to remotely attack. He's going to keep defending. Look, he is on one hit kill, right? If she hits him, he is... Wait, no. She could roll a double 1 and do a total of 2. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Arguably, he could take one more hit, but odds are he won't. So until she's into single figure endurance, he isn't attacking. Sir Alwyn is probably not attacking this round either. Let's have Brother Kern fire his final arrow. It is worth saying that, did I say this already, that if we wanted to reduce the odds of her picking any individual person as a target, we would walk Brother Kern up to her. The problem is that on the turn he'd move in, he would have to attack. And if she selected him as a target on that turn, he'd be dead. Pretty much. Guaranteed. So let's fire that arrow. And he hits at last. It is but an arrow, so the damage will not be immense. It is 4 points, less 2 for her scaly armor, takes her down to 24. I think it's high time we try cast that white fire spell of Ariadne. You know what, we'll drag her down here, because they're simultaneous anyway. Alright. The spell could fail. But no, she has been very reliably pumping out. Look, statistically, she should not be able to roll less than a 7 on 2 dice this many times. but I really should not complain. Maybe she'll roll higher than a 7 for the damage. 12 points of incineration. That is truly impressive. Even with the armor, it's 10 points, takes her down to 14 endurance. At this point, it's almost worth considering the Eye of the Tiger and sending in Brother Kern to try and bonk her with his staff. But for now, Sir Alwyn will defend, and she will select her target once more. Oh, she's going for Remy this time. She's going for Remy, and he is a very tricky target. If it was not for the Trickster's 1-point penalty on attacks against him, that attack would have hit. And he would be in a sorry state indeed, as if he isn't already. I did say Remy would be defending until she's down to single-figure health, and that hasn't really changed. Sir Alwyn will... No, I need to get one more load of damage on her. So he will defend. Brother Kern is out of arrows. He will move cautiously to here, ready to move in with his quarterstaff and attack, if a little more damage can be inflicted. And Ariadne will... If she prepares the Eye of the Tiger now, and Echidna does not land a single hit on anyone, what are we looking at here? 1 attack on 9, 2 attack on 9, 3 attack on 8. D6 plus 2, D6 plus 1. So at the max, 6, 5, 11, and another 5, 16 out of her 14 health. Yes, that is taking the armor into account. It is too early. We need more white fire. Okay. Echidna will randomize her target once again. And she goes for Sir Alwyn. Ooh, he is defending, fortunately. And she fails to hit. These two are doing a good job of keeping her busy. She's lashing out. They're hunkering down, darting away, dashing back in again to get her attention. They keep defending. Brother Kern will not go anywhere close yet. He can see how deadly that thing is. And Ariadne will attempt once again to summon forth the white fire and burn her foe. I tell you what, she is getting better and better at this. She deserves some kind of reward after this fight. We'll see what kind of state everyone's in. But yes, the white fire has successfully been cast once again. And now we may seriously consider trying to go all in on the monster. But let's see how much damage is inflicted. 6. Less armor is 4. Takes her down to 10 endurance points. Right, so 0 to 5, 0 to 4 with a 1 in 3 chance of no damage for each of these two. I think we're a turn off. I think we are not quite... So, at this point, Brother Kern could go in this turn and attack her, but she could drop him with a single hit. I think we need to hold off a little bit longer. New round. Of course, Remy and Sir Alwyn are defending. Echidna will pick her target. Oh, she goes for Sir Alwyn once again. Come on. Miss that defending target with a 14. Not even close. She's tired, she's wounded, she's thrashing about dangerously, but she's not aiming as well. She can't focus on them so easily. Oh, that is a great relief. Brother Kern will edge closer. Remember, there's no diagonal contact. Cautiously preparing his quarterstaff for what he knows must be the end. And Ariadne will, if she prepares Eye of the Tiger now, they have to defend for one. Well, they have to defend for one more round, whatever she does, right? The thing is, though, right? I've had some very lucky casting rolls. I would need to roll a 5 or less on 2 dice to cast the Eye of the Tiger, whereas a 6 or less on 2 dice would successfully cast the White Fire, which I have succeeded every single attempt this fight. The difference between trying to roll a 5 and trying to roll a 6, at this point, I think I need rate of fire is more important. New round. The vile Echidna chooses her foe. She goes for Sir Alwyn yet again, who once again manages to fend off her venomous advances. I'd like to point out that I've been incredibly lucky this fight so far. Okay. Just making that extremely clear. Now, Remy was simultaneous with her, and he was defending, which means we've only really got 3 people to try and drop her this round. So what we do is we'll go straight to Ariadne with the White Fire and see if she can burn the monster. Because this will make the big difference between Sir Alwyn and Brother Kern attacking or everyone defending for another round. 2d6 plus 1. It's a complexity level 1 spell, not 2. I was getting excited about the damage a little bit preemptively. And with a 7, I've rolled my 6 plus 1 is 7. That is successful White Fire. Let's burn the bitch. She obviously screams in agony as 9 points of damage are dealt. Even less armor, it's 7 points, taking her down to a 3. Okay, it's time to attack. Sir Alwyn will raise his sword and strike. It is not Blutgetranker, but the normal sword of Remy, and misses. Ah! Brother Kern will move in and attempt to strike with his staff. We struck too early. That is another miss. We're going to lose someone. We go to round 10. We remove the White Fire spell. Before I forget, I don't want to go and imagining I've still got it there ready. And Echidna will now choose her target, and please make it Remy. 1 for Sir Alwyn, 2 for Remy, 3 for Brother Kern. She goes for Brother Kern. This is going to be horrible. Oh, that's a hit. That is 11. He's down. He is down. That may cost us the entire quest. In all honesty. We will remove him from initiative. However, as it is simultaneous, Remy will attack. He does land a blow. He does deal no damage. Sir Alwyn will also attack. He does hit. 5 damage. Minus her 2 points of armor is 3. The Echidna monstrous creature is defeated. The battle is at an end. However, I'd like to point out, if that was old rules, we'd have lost Brother Kern right there, and we'd have been playing with 3 heroes for the rest of the mission. If we did not have those optional rules in place, I would have defended for that extra turn. I would have not moved him in. I would have kept those two defending. Get her down even lower, because he was just too valuable to lose. Since we do have those optional rules, and I have not had to use them yet at all for the entire quest, Brother Kern will recover on 1d6 endurance. 1 whole point. Well, that's harsh, isn't it? But because we want to fight, we can each eat food. We will eat food. Ariadne will eat food. That'll take her to 8 endurance. Remy will eat food, taking him up to 6 endurance. He will also share some of his food with Brother Kern, taking him up to 2 whole endurance points. And Sir Alwyn will eat food, taking him back up to 9. Now we have to ask ourselves, I think we have to use that healing scroll. I could have used... I do have the scroll of time blink. I could have used that to go back to the beginning of the fight. And I'm not going to, by the way, but I could. Brother Kern will use the healing scroll on himself because he's absolutely shagged. With 2 endurance, the odds of him being able to restore health to anyone in the party, including himself, it's just way too risky. We could use the golden snuff box of Shormiano. If we do, Brother Kern may die, so we'll use the scroll instead. Use the magic scroll for 2d6 healing. 8 points, which takes him all the way back up to his usual 10. Which means 3 of us still need healing, but that's okay. I did not remove the healing scroll. It is now gone. And I will write scroll of... No, just go away. Scroll of time blink. I'm sure I'm going to need that. I should have used that in this fight just to make sure Brother Kern got out of it in better shape. However, if I used it and fought the fight again and it went much nastier, we could have all been dead. We were not forced to flee through either exit on particularly low health. And it's the first time we've used one of the optional rules. If we did not have that scroll of healing, we would have been so screwed. But the demoness has been defeated. Ah, brutal. You search the darkened temple for the demon lady's treasure. All you find under the altar stone is a small casket containing a sliver of grey-white metal. Does anyone in the party have an opal medallion? Yes, we all have one, but more importantly, this is not a combat section, so we're going to be healing. We go for our 1d6 heal, for our 1 point heal. Brother Kern sacrifices a point, he gets 2 back. I will give 1 to Remy. Oh, this is going to be 521. Excellent stuff. Okay, a little bit further. The voice of your patron speaks from the medallion. He sounds faint. Distant. Contact is difficult now. You have reached the lower level, he says. You have found a sliver of callium. If you take it, keep the casket sealed rightly. Callium is a volatile metal that reacts explosively when moistened. That is good to know. So if it gets wet, it will explode. Let us attempt a 1-point healing. Oh, we get 4 points back. So that'll be 1 back to Brother Kern to keep him on full health. I'm going to give 2 here to Sir Alwyn. And 1 more to Remy, which puts us in a better condition. We will absolutely be taking that with us, as I'm sure it will come in useful in some interesting way. Who should carry it? Someone we can rely on to not get it too wet. I'm thinking Brother Kern or Ariadne. Ariadne is the least likely to get blood spilt all over her in a fight, so we'll give it to her. We have a sliver of callium in a box. She will wrap it up nicely in cloth and put it among her things. Additionally, what will you do now? I'll do a 1-point healing roll. That's what I'll do now. Okay, excellent. I get 2 points back. I will give 1 point to... Sir Alwyn. Always good to keep him in tip-top condition, as he's normally the one in first place getting hit. We can investigate the inner sanctum of the temple, or leave via the exit to the left or the right. We will investigate the inner sanctum. We were told that if we had octagonal glass prisms, it would be better to fight in here. We haven't had an opportunity to use the octagonal glass prisms for anything yet, so we will continue to search the temple and find out why we were advised to do this. You enter the inner sanctum. Flickering candles cast a swaying light across the walls. Opposite the entrance, a large circular lens of black glass has been set into the wall like a window. You peer through it, but see only a dark and twisted image of your own face. Beside the black lens, there are 2 octagonal indentations in the wall. If you have an octagonal glass prism and would like to use it, you may do so. However, if you have 2 such prisms and wish to use them, something different will happen. If you don't have either or any, leave the temple through either of the exits. Well, we'll attempt another 1-point healing while we're here. And we lose that point. Brother Kern is reduced to 9 endurance. We do have 2 octagonal glass prisms. Let us put them to good use. You insert the prisms into the indentations. As you expected, they fit snugly. As they click into place, a multicoloured glow suffuses them. There is a soft whining noise throughout the room as the black lens too erupts into a reddish glow. And we'll do a 1-point heal while it's just warming up. Excellent. 3, 4, 5. We get 3 points back. We'll keep 1 ourselves. Give 1 to Remy. And, give him another 1 as well. Also, after the vicious fight against Echidna, he's tempted to return Blutgetranke to Sir Alwyn, but I'll hold off on that for a moment. You feel a tingling across your skin, a moment of disorientation and weightlessness. The scene changes. You are now standing on the edge of a desolate plain. Ancient stone henges rear up all across the plain like cracked teeth. On the far side of the plain, against the back wall of the cave, you see an atoll. At its peak is planted the Emblem of Victory, for which you have battled your way through all the dangers of the last few hours. Now you can feel it in your grasp. And these heroes have been eating so much in those last few hours, they're going to be shitting themselves tonight and all tomorrow. Their asses are going to be raw. Turn to 359. Now, this section. I think I should be reading this one next time. I will make my healing attempt now, because I will remember that I've done it now. 1 point, as usual. Lost. Wasted. During this section, I will need to decide if Remy will keep the magic sword or return it to the warrior. I think he may as well just... I have a reason for maybe swapping it back over or keeping it where it is. I just need to think about it. That loss of endurance there was unfortunate. But it is what it is. And I think I will leave the episode there. We have faced the vile monster in her temple. I will move the heroes back here to the main map. I'll delete these. There we go. Copy and paste. So, I am contemplating putting Remy in front and moving Sir Alwyn to the back. That way, if there's any traps and ambushes... The other thing is, the first character in marching order is likely to be in the most danger at the start of a fight. With his increased awareness, Remy can retreat out of danger at the start of a fight, and with quick thinking he might also be able to attack before he leaves. And I'm thinking, if I do that, he will be put in a lot of danger. He doesn't have the armour for it, so I would give the magic sword back to Sir Alwyn. If I keep Sir Alwyn in first place, then Remy can keep the magic sword for a little bit longer. I need to spend a little time thinking about that. I mean, we let him use it on the bridge, but otherwise Remy's just used it the whole time. So maybe we just stick with this marching order. I'll give it some thought between now and the next episode. For now, though, I'm going to end this one here. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and I'll look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. I'll say goodbye for now, though, and cheerio, everyone. See you all soon.